Welcome, Central Indiana sports fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for my new podcast, Greg and His Friends Talk Sports. I'm your host, Greg Mingel, and every weekday afternoon, my friends and I are talking about whatever Central Indiana sports fans are talking about. Coming up today, Thursday, March 26, 2026, the NCAA tournament resumes tonight, and my friend and our Purdue guy, Jake Dunn, joins me to preview Purdue, Texas. The Pacers lost to the Lakers on Wednesday night. Mike Rich was there and shares his experience. And the Major League Baseball season is underway. And my friend Kevin DeVries, my freshman year of college and one of the biggest Cubs fan that I know, here to preview the 2026 Chicago Cubs season. It's been a really busy week here on the Central Indiana Sports Report. In the last 2 days, we've released a Purdue report with Jake Dunn and Mike Rich previewing the West Region, the MLB season preview, and Division Friction podcast with Will Rutherford and Paul Tipton. A wild Sweet 16 preview with Mike Hutzel, Grant Schaus, and Dave Chanley. A Fever report with John Robertson and Michelle Garman, and an IndyCar report with Elijah Poe. And tomorrow we'll have a boys basketball state finals preview. Crazy week. A lot of good content. Thanks so much for joining us. My friends and I will be back tomorrow. We're going to do things a little differently today. We almost always start with what happened yesterday, but not today. It is Sweet 16 day for the Purdue Boilermakers, so we start there with my friend and our Purdue guy, Jake Dunn. Jake Dunn, welcome back. Just a few hours away from a Purdue Boilermakers Sweet 16.
Looking forward to this matchup here with Texas. It should be a good one here. Purdue's looking to return to the Elite Eight for the second time in 3 years. And they're facing a Texas squad that is battle-tested. They've beaten NC State, BYU, and Gonzaga here in the NCAA tournament so far. So they've won 3 games in 5 days. And for their reward, they get to travel out to San Jose, California, and take on the number 2 seed Purdue Boilermakers.
And Jake, we talked about this a little bit on the Purdue report this week, but what should we be looking for? What are the keys to Purdue coming out of this one with a win and advancing to the Elite Eight?
This Longhorns offense, they heavily rely on individual shot creation rather than kind of running sets, and they're not a very complex passing team or a complex passing offense. They actually rank 346th in assists per field goal made in the country. So a lot of ISO ball, a lot of guys going out and getting their own shot. They prefer to play at their own pace, and they take a pretty high volume of tough 2-point shots. So some guys that we'll kind of want to watch out for on this Texas team. Tremont Mark. He is a versatile 6'5" guard who excels at attacking the rim. Jordan Pope, he is their primary ball handler. He will likely match up against Braden Smith. Dylan Swain, he's a 6'8" guard / forward. He's got a lot of length and athleticism. I imagine TKR will probably be on him. And then Matas Voikaitis, he is a 7-foot center who's a physical force in the paint. He's a massive threat both on the boards, but also from the free throw line. He draws nearly 8 free throw attempts a game. That is on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, contrary to typical Texas defenses, this team does not force a lot of turnovers. They rank 352nd in the nation. They rely on a deep drop coverage, which is where, in the pick and roll, usually the center or whoever will be guarding the person that's coming up to set the screen will just drop back and not really get in the direct path of the ball. That usually is going to work well for guys like Braden Smith, who can get into his kind of pull up mid-range jumper. And then TKR will be able to run that 2-man game there as well off of that. But usually Voikaitis, the 7-footer, he is a pretty big force, obviously, near the rim. And he's going to want to force those mid-range attempts that Braden Smith's going to be looking for. They do struggle to I guess, kind of defend those short roll passes. So when Braden Smith and TK are in the pick and roll, when Braden Smith dumps it off pretty quick to him, and there's not a super long roll in the basket, they can get caught ball watching and often leaving guys wide open on the back cuts. So for Purdue to win this game, obviously going to need to exploit that drop coverage. Braden Smith and TKR should both be able to dominate there. That short roll should be open, and Braden Smith obviously is going to want to get those mid-range jump shots to fall. So that was something he's kind of struggled with there against Miami. I didn't necessarily have a great shooting performance or performance taking care of the ball. Second here, I have Voitkaitis getting into foul trouble. Purdue's going to want to attack him early with TKR and Oscar Clough, trying to get him in foul trouble. There is a kind of a pretty big drop-off in terms of interior presence without him. So if you can get him in foul trouble, that would certainly be a plus for Purdue. And then we've talked about all season here, defensive rebounding and obviously taking care of the ball are going to be the other main keys to the game here. Got to limit Texas just to one shot attempt per possession, and Tremont Mark and Dylan Swain are going to want to get drives to the rim, so they can kind of wall up there and help with that. I think Purdue should be able to come out with this one.
It sounds like you're expecting a lot of points and a Purdue win.
Yeah, if things go according to the scout here, I would expect Braden Smith and TKR to kind of feast here. It should be a lot of points here for the Boilers. Should definitely come out with the win here.
And then they would be one game away from returning to the Final Four for the second time in 3 years. Also, Jake, it would be the third time in 7 years that they advance to the Elite Eight if they win tonight.
But right, I didn't forget about that run against Virginia, but I figured it was a little too far away to kind of include it there. But yes, it's certainly nice to have a chance to be back there and be one game away from coming back home to Indianapolis.
The night starts with Purdue, Texas at 7:10. 20 minutes later, it's Big Ten rivals Iowa and Nebraska going head-to-head in the South in Houston at 7:30. Following Purdue, Texas in the West in San Jose, it's top seed Arizona against Arkansas. And then the night ends with Ben Humrickhouse and the Illinois Fighting Illini against the Houston Cougars. We did a full Sweet 16 preview with predictions released last night with Grant Schaus, Mike Hutzel, and Dave Chanley, and it was a lot of fun. If you're okay with adult themes and language, please go check that one out. The East and West are in action on Friday with St. John's Duke, Michigan, Alabama, UConn, Michigan State, and Iowa State, Tennessee. Tune into the Central Indiana Sports Report and this podcast for a reaction every day of the tournament. Luka Doncic scored 43 points, and the Los Angeles Lakers won their 47th game of the year, 137-130 over the Pacers in Indianapolis on Wednesday night. But it was apparently a really fun night at the Fieldhouse with Caitlin Clark there taking photos, signing autographs, and entertaining the masses. And Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves combining for 91 points and putting on a show for the Lakers. And our guy Mike Rich was there, and he took it all in. Well, Mike Rich just returned from the Pacers game tonight, taking in a game with his son. Mike, you got to see Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and apparently Caitlin Clark was there signing autographs. What was it like there in the arena tonight?
I thought it was at the Staples Center. People were just excited to see Bronny James score 4 points and kind of go crazy. I think the only type of jeers or whatever you want to call it against the Lakers was when it was missing for chicken or whatever in the fourth quarter. That was the only time fans really got into it against the Lakers. I probably saw 20 people just walking on the streets with Lakers gear, and before I saw a Pacer fan.
Mike, we've been dealing with this our whole lives.
Yeah.
You and I became Pacers fans when it just wasn't cool to be a Pacers fan. And you know what? Next year, there'll be no Lakers fans there. It'll be all Pacers fans.
And tickets will be double the price.
That's right. And it'll be filled to the rafters with Pacers fans. And it's okay. 1 year. We'll give up 1 year because great things are ahead. What did you see in the game tonight, do you like?
McConnell heck of a game. He's just a spark off the bench. Walker started out really rough, way too many turnovers, just kind of really frustrating with the ball handling. If he has to think for a second, it's like he just needs to shoot the ball. As soon as he gets it, he needs to shoot it or pass it. But when he sits there and thinks for a split second, he makes a mistake. And it's just like, come on. But he warmed up in the second half. But I thought he had an all right game. Siakam played pretty well other than fouling out. I don't know if Lakers do. They gave us a chance in the fourth quarter, and it made you kind of think back to last year, well, God, 11 points is nothing to overcome in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and there was a little bit of flash of that, and the fans kind of started getting into it a little bit, but it was good to see some good things. I think it's really cool to see someone like Luka Doncic play, LeBron James play in one of his last years of his career. So I thought that was pretty cool. My son's a huge Lakers fan. We took a picture right when we walked in. They had Pacers-Lakers. I stood on the Pacers side. He stood on the Lakers side. Got a good picture. So good memory for him. That was probably the best part about it, was just spending the time with Matthew. And, he's always been a LeBron fan, and so taking him to a couple games and seeing LeBron James play a couple times was pretty fun. He had a good game.
Mark,
thought he was going to get a triple-double.
Horrible parenting. Just horrible parenting.
No, man. I don't know.
Off to Florida and then back in time for another Pacers game Friday.
Yeah, Friday I'm going to go watch Mathern play, and hopefully he gets the start. That'd be kind of cool if he makes the starting lineup, and I think he'll have a hell of a game no matter.
And he'll get a big ovation.
Yeah, he'll get a big ovation too. But you see flashes of this Pacer team, and you're like, man, they are going to be so freaking good next year. If things go our way, and if things go well in the draft, say your prayers every night, Pacers fans, that we're in that top four.
Mike, early flight, get some sleep. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, good seeing you, Greg.
Love you, buddy.
Go Pacers, boiler up.
That's right. The 2026 MLB season is underway after the New York Yankees beat the San Francisco Giants 7-0 Wednesday night in San Francisco. Max Fried allowed just 2 hits and 6 in a third inning. The amazing thing to me was that the AP headline for the season opener of the entire season after the game said Aaron Judge went hitless for the first time in a season opener following a Yankees 7-0 win. Man, sports journalism is just falling so hard. By the way, history was made in the game. The first robot ump call was made, and Jose Caballero's challenge was upheld. Today, everyone else in the league gets underway, including the 2 teams that are of our main interest, the Cubs at 2:20 against the Nationals, and the Reds at 4 against the Red Sox. We did our season preview on Wednesday morning and predicted all of the division winners with Paul Tipton and Will Rutherford. Please go check that out. Each of the 3 of us picked a different winner in the National League Central. Here is my college friend, Kevin DeVries, the most passionate Cubs fan I've ever known, with his preview of the 2026 Chicago Cubs season. Well, welcome, Kevin DeVries. And Kevin, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about the season?
I would say a 9. I'm pretty excited. I think the Cubs, I think they're making some good moves and position themselves to finally win the Central. I thought we'd be winning the Central the last couple of years, but the Brewers just keep on doing what they do. I don't know, man. They keep finding this young talent. But I'm pretty excited about where they're at, for sure. I love what they did, adding like Alex Bregman in there, bringing him in. He's looked really hot playing for Team USA. They just signed PCA to an extension, and he had a great playing for Team USA again. So it's good to see those guys getting early action and having success on the world's biggest stage. And so I think that bodes well for where the Cubs are going to be sitting this year.
On our season preview, we predicted every division. We had 3 guys on there. We had 3 different picks in the NL Central. I picked the Reds, as you might expect.
Of course.
I think they're going to have a great year. Will took the Brewers because he said they always win it. And Paul took the Cubs. I assume you think the Cubs are going to win
Paul.
this year.
Yeah, I think so. You got Matthew Boyd. They just got Edward Cabrera. Guy's throwing 100 miles an hour, young right-handed pitcher. I think Cade Horton is going to have a breakout year. Could be, if not Cy Young this year, he's got Cy Young in the future. I think he's that good, Cade Horton. And Shota Imanaga, hopefully he bounces back. They offered him a qualifying offer, and he took it. They were hoping he didn't take it. But to have him as your number 4 or number 5, then you got Jamison Tyone. That's not even counting Justin Steele, who is coming back off of elbow surgery.
Right. So the big question is, can they stay healthy in the pitching rotation? I think if they do, they are the favorite.
I honestly, I don't see why they wouldn't.
Everyone in their lineup has had a history of injuries is the issue.
I know, but I'm liking Justin Steele coming back. Hey, Cade Horton, I don't know if he's a young buck.
Right.
He's a horse. And I don't know about Cabrera's. I don't know. I'm not familiar with his injury history coming over from the Marlins. He's got a lot of it?
Yes, he does. But when he's good, he's really good.
Well, now for your Reds, isn't Hunter Green out?
Yes, and Nick Lodolo too. I think that's the same question in that division with the Reds as well.
So who's the Reds starting pitching rotation?
They can go 7 or 8 deep. I think that's why the Reds pitching rotation is so good.
Well, so could the Cubs.
Well, there you go. So it's very interesting.
You got Ben Brown. Yeah, he could come up. You got Colin Ray as a long man in the bullpen. So they got some pitching. I like where the Cubs are at.
What about the bullpen?
How about Daniel Valencia in the World Baseball Classic? That guy was throwing 100 miles per hour, striking out, world-class players from all over the world. So that was really good for me as a Cubs fan, because I've never been quite on board with Daniel Valencia as our closer. He's been shaky for me, but he really had a great World Baseball Classic, and I think that's going to do wonders for his confidence. So I really like where he's at on the bullpen side of things.
Well, you heard it, everybody. Kevin breaks the tie. The Cubs are going to win the NL Central. And it's just
you got it. Oh, yeah.
It's just not happening.
Whatever.
It makes me reflectively almost vomit. Just
my goodness.
Oh.
Well, hey, me and you, we got to, when the Cubs play in Cincinnati, we got to go.
There we go. Let's do it.
I mean, at least you'll be able to watch some good baseball. Whatever. With Francona as your manager, I like where the Reds are going. I will say that. I was going to say anybody but the Cardinals, but the Brewers are kind of getting on my nerves in that same way. It's like Brewers and Cardinals, anybody but them. It's kind of mad.
All right, well, Kevin, thanks so much for making your debut on the Central Indiana Sports Report. We look forward to hearing from you about the Cubs from time to time, and hope you can join us every once in a while on the Major League Baseball Report.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me. Go Cubs.
Some other games of note today. The day starts at 1:15, so 10 minutes ago, with the Pirates in New York to face the Mets on NBC. The White Sox are in Milwaukee. The Cardinals host the Rays, and the day ends with the teams that Paul, Will, and I all picked to be in the World Series. The reigning World Series champion Dodgers host the Diamondbacks at 8:30. That one's also on NBC. And the day ends with Seattle at home against Cleveland at 10. The NFL announced this year that the world champion Seattle Seahawks will open the 2026 season on a Wednesday night in Seattle. And the NBA owners voted Wednesday to officially expand this season, adding teams in Portland and Toronto. And coming up on tomorrow's show, it'll be mostly about the NCAA tournament. We'll also have some news from the baseball season openers, and we'll look ahead to Saturday's boys basketball state championships. Thanks so much for joining us, my friends, and I will be back tomorrow. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.